Hello, welcome to Michelle Sews again. I'm Michelle. It is Saturday, so that means it's another hashtag Friday Sews because, again, I'm late. I'm going to do something different again this week, just like I did last week. So last week I shared with you all of my purple fabrics that are options for me to use for the very many collaborations that I have going on in September. Today I'm going to share with you the patterns that I have lined up. They're not all 100% buttoned up, but I'm pretty close. So if that sounds interesting to you, then please stay tuned. Okay, before we get into the patterns, I wanted to share a couple of things with you. So I have worked on one thing this week and I finished it today, and it is my collaboration with the beautiful and wonderful Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. Here's her picture. I will link her below, but you all know who she is. She's fabulous, and she's actually the person who started hashtag Friday Sews. So on the rare chance that you haven't already been acquainted with her, then please go and check out her channel below. Anyway, so hopefully that video will be coming up within the next week or so. I just need to check with Jen and see what the status of her dress is. All right. The next thing that I wanted to share with you is that Mardi from Mardi Sews, if you're not already aware, has recently, in the last few months, I forget exactly when, she started a small business called Inspired Leather. And she makes the most gorgeous handcrafted leather goods. I am the lucky recipient of 2 of her hats. One was gifted to me, one I bought with my own money. And I have a wallet from her. She's done like some really gorgeous things. I will link her website below, but I wanted to share with you. So I was gifted this voodoo doll pincushion from her many months ago, and I just love it. It is just so cool. And she's actually engraved. So if you buy it on her website already made, she will laser engrave whatever needles you want on the legs. So you can see here I have Microtex and Universal, and then on the other side I have hand and stretch. So this is a way for me to keep my really, I'm using it for needles that I've already used in my machine. The ones I haven't used yet are in their little cases in a drawer. But once I've used it and let's say I haven't done a whole garment, I'll pull it out and I'll put it in here so that I know what needle it is. So like I said, this one was gifted to me. Mardi made this one, but then she's recently launched kits so that you can make your own. And I was lucky enough to be one of her testers. And so I made this one myself. And these are, I just can't even tell you how much fun these are to make. So she sent me the one with the rainbow hair. And these are just very therapeutic. I'm just gonna tell you that. It's just very meditative to hand stitch this. And she gives you every single thing that you need to make this voodoo doll. She also has the Pac-Man Ghost kits. If you check out Adam from Adam Sews, he's made one of those. So I'll link his channel down below. And she has tutorials on her YouTube channel to help you get through the instructions. These were very easy to make. And like I said, she gives you, the leather is already pre-cut. It's already pre-punched, so you don't have to worry about fighting to get through the leather. She gives you all of the thread that you need. And it comes with the little button. It comes with the polyfill, way more than you actually need. And it comes with her logo stamped on the back piece. And it is just so cute. I highly encourage you, if you enjoy doing different kinds of crafts, then give this a try, but beware, it might make you also want to get into leather crafting, which is a whole nother expense, right? So anyway, I will link all of Mardi's stuff below, and she has a new YouTube channel in support of Inspired Leather. So go and check out and subscribe to her new YouTube channel, Inspired Leather Co. All right, so those are my voodoo doll pin cushions. All right, so then last week I shared with you all of my purple fabric. After I finished filming that video, I discovered 2 more pieces of purple fabric that I completely overlooked last week. And they're both fairly recent purchases. So this first one is a piece of knit that I got from Miley May Fabrics a couple of months ago. And this feels like a swimsuit fabric. I'm not really sure what kind of knit it is. Maybe it's an ITY or a DTY. I don't really know my knits very well. But I couldn't resist the print of this. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna make with this. I have an idea. I'm not sure. You tell me, is this kind of knit, does it work for a t-shirt? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment box below. But how fun is that print? Love it, love it, love it. So that is one more of my fabrics that will probably get used in September. And then this next one is just gorgeous. And I did buy this one knowing that I needed some purple fabrics for my September challenge. And I bought this last month when I went up to Lakeland on 4th of July with Trish from Pinky's Farm and Jen from Today and Jen's Sewing Room. And we went to the sewing, shoot, I can't remember the name of the shop. I'll put it underneath. But we went fabric shopping because they had a 40% off sale. And I got a couple of pieces of fabric, but this one in particular, it's this beautiful, like blueberry purple kind of linen. And it's already washed. And I don't know if you can see the texture in there, but I do know which collaborator I'm using this fabric for because she just claimed it on Instagram. So yeah, love this fabric and can't wait to use it. I think we know what we're gonna do with this, or at least the concept. I don't know about specific pattern yet. So, all right, those are the extra pieces of purple fabric that I had. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to share the pattern ideas that I have. And I'm not gonna tell you which collaborator it goes with, and I'm not gonna tell you which pieces of fabric I'm using. So we'll save that for a surprise. So if I haven't already mentioned it, on September 1st, I'm gonna do an intro video for the September Purple Challenge, which is in support of Alzheimer's awareness. And September is World Alzheimer's Awareness Month, which is why I chose September. Last year I did it in October, and that was really in memoriam of my father. It had been 1 year since he had passed away from Alzheimer's. This year I'm gonna do it in September just so that I can capture the whole momentum of World Alzheimer's Awareness Month. And so on September 1st, I'll do an intro video. I'll tell you all about the challenge. I'll tell you about the collaborators. I'll tell you about the prizes. And I'm gonna share a schedule of which collaborator is uploading on which day and what our projects are. So, and you'll have to wait and see those videos to find out what fabric I paired with which collaborator and garment. All right, so the first, let's see. What I've decided to do is, earlier this week, I started getting very anxious about everything that I have to make for the month of September. I know it's August, but I have a lot. I have 25 or 26 collaborations. They're not all garments, but most of them are. So yeah, I need to get sewing. So I have a lot of vacation time at my job, even though I'm still new. You know, I have, I think 4 or 5 weeks of vacation. So what I decided to do was just to take this next week off and just sew my little heart out. So I'm gonna get as much of it done over the course of the next week as possible. But what I've done is I've prioritized, and I didn't do it in the order of the uploads. I did it in the order of difficulty. So I am banging out, there are 2 projects, maybe 3, that are the most difficult. The rest of them I feel like are pretty straightforward. The first one is my most involved, so I'm gonna work on that one first and try and get it out of the way so that it's not hanging over my head. The second one is also more involved than most of the others. It's not as difficult as the first one, but it is a little bit more involved. And then the third one isn't so much from a construction standpoint that it's more involved, but it is more of a shapely silhouette than what I normally wear. And so for that one, I want to make sure I get the fit right. The other ones, a lot of things are like boxier fit, and the fit is, although it's important, it's not as critical. And yeah, spoiler alert, there's not going to be time for any muslins whatsoever. So I just got to get cracking. So I figured I'd just do it in the order of difficulty, ranking the highest difficulty first and so forth. And then once I get past those difficult ones, then I'm kind of putting it in the order of the uploads, because chances are I'm going to be still sewing stuff at the beginning of September, even though I'm going to try and pre-make and pre-film as much as possible. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's start with the very first. And I'm just gonna, most of my patterns, if not all of them, are indie. So instead of holding up pattern packets, I'm just gonna put pictures up somewhere up here. All right, the first one is the chip jacket from Seamwork. I believe that's a Seamwork pattern. And it's a moto style jacket. And without giving anything away, I'm not doing it in one solid color. So there's that. That one is going to be my most difficult because I am piecing some different things together, and it's a jacket. So it's a more involved jacket than anything I've ever made. Most of the jackets that I've made are either more cardigan style or duster style. Even the Molly jacket didn't have any fastenings. So this one has shaping to it. It's got a zipper. It's just the most involved make that I'm making. So that is first on my list. The second one on my list is a pair of cargo shorts for my husband, and that is a big 4 pattern. I did get the pattern recommendation from Carole from So Carole, so I will link her. Actually, she's one of my collaborators, so I will again have all of my collaborators' channels listed below in the description box. So please go through those and subscribe to all of them, because that way you will get alerted when our collaboration comes up. Not to mention the fact that they're all fabulous people to watch anyway. All right, so I've got the cargo shorts. That's my second most involved make, and that's really because, I mean, A, it's a pair of pants. B, it's for my husband. So yeah, I've never made anything for him ever. So let's keep our fingers crossed that these things fit. Thank goodness he is actually home this weekend, so I can measure him before I get started and make sure that I'm starting with the right size. All right, the third thing is the Shelby dress from True Bias. And that one, as I've mentioned before, and if you know me, then you know that's not a silhouette that I would typically gravitate to. But when my collaborator suggested this, I was like, you know what? That is, I get challenged all the time that the clothes that I wear are too boxy, they're too baggy. So and I do know when I do wear things that have a little bit more shape to them, they are more flattering. Not always the most comfortable. So I prefer comfort over flattering, to be honest. But I feel like I can make it shapely and flattering and still be comfortable. So that one, because of the fit, because of the shape, I want to put a little bit more effort into that one. So that one is my third make. And then, oh, sorry. And my fourth one is actually also another more difficult make. And that is a jumpsuit that I'm making. And I'm making a short all version of the jumpsuit. And this one is the Campbell Jumpsuit from Seamwork. And I'm making it in, oh, I'm not telling you what I'm making it in. You almost got me. So yeah, I'm going to make that Campbell jumpsuit, but I'm going to make a short version. I think I'm doing short sleeves and shorts, but not short shorts. They'll probably be like, I don't know. I got to think about that. Am I going to do like clam digger style? Am I going to do like Bermuda short length? I don't know. We shall see. All right. So then my next one, and the rest of these are, like I said, the rest of these are going to be more in the order that they're going to be uploaded. So I have the Rhapsody top from Love Notions. I have the lounge set from Peppermint Magazine. I have made that one once before and it was not successful. I think that was partially because of the fabric that I used and partially because it was one of the earlier pairs of pants that I made. And even though it's elastic waist, like the rise of that pattern was just too voluminous for my body. So I know how that fits. So I know I need to make some adjustments to the pattern. Plus I've lost about 20 pounds since I made it. So I'm probably going to have to make a different size anyway. So, I've been wanting to redo that one. So I'm happy that that was one that was recommended by my collaborator. I have 2 Project Dress-A-Girl dresses and I will be finding new free patterns, to make. So all of the Project Dress-A-Girl dresses that I've made so far have come from free patterns. I have quite a few free little girl dress patterns linked on my Pinterest board. And if you're not already aware, my Pinterest account is always in the description box. So I have like my sewing inspo, I have some patterns on there. I've got, you know, color inspiration. I've got tie-dye inspiration. So anytime you're ever interested in taking a nosy look at my Pinterest board, you know where the link is. So yeah, I'm going to do 2 of the Dress-A-Girl free patterns. I have not decided which ones yet. Mardi just announced on her Friday Sews that the woman who designed the Allison tent dress is designing one for Project Dress-A-Girl. It looks adorable. And on September 1st, she's going to have a code so that you can download that pattern for free. So how cool is that? So who knows, maybe that'll be one of them. And that should be pretty simple to sew together. So maybe I'll wait and make that one after the code is available. All right, so then I've got the wide strap maxi. I have made this once before as well. The one that I made, I need to adjust. I absolutely love the fabric that I used. My problem is that the straps, according to the pattern, where they had them placed, they're just too far over on my shoulders. And I think I have sloping shoulders and these straps go like straight across, so they are constantly falling off. So I need to pull the straps further in, and I'm thinking of maybe crisscrossing them in the back so that they can't fall off. But other than that, I think that pattern is fabulous. I enjoyed sewing it. It was a pretty straightforward sew, but it had some interesting techniques to it, which I really enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to making that one again. I am going to make another Rebecca Page hoodie dress. I made that one in a red French terry, and then I lined it with my favorite Tula Pink fabric that I've made several things with. I made this Japanese knot bag. I've made the Caladium jumpsuit out of that fabric. I used it to make a Style Arc Hope shirt. That's one of my favorite fabrics of all time. So I have extra. So, yeah, I am going to make another Rebecca Page hoodie dress and I'm looking forward to that. I am going to make a Tessuti apron. So that's a free pattern from Tessuti Patterns online. I've made that apron a couple of times. I made it for other people. So I made it for some friends of mine. Their daughters, one of them was into cooking and one of them is into painting. So I made those. And I've been wanting to make myself an apron. I had started cooking a little bit more when I started my weight loss journey. I've kind of pulled back away from that, but I really need to get back to it. So yeah, I'm excited about making an apron. So that is the one that I'm going to be making. I am going to be making a hair towel. So that is going to be self-drafted. So you know those twisty turban things where it's like, I don't know, the shape of it, and then you put your wet hair in it and you twist it up and it sticks in the back into a little piece of elastic. I'm going to make one of those. Me and my collaborator are going to self-draft, and so I'll be making one of those. I am going to be making an 8640, a Simplicity 8640. I'm not giving away the collaborator, but I mean, who do you think it might be? And I'm excited about that because that is a Simplicity pattern it is, so a lot of the big 4 patterns do come in plus sizes. The problem is where their plus sizes cut off has been 2 to 3 inches smaller than my bust measurement. The 8640 is now in even extended plus sizes, and it comes in my size. So I was excited to see that. I've been wanting to make one because one of my YouTube friends makes quite a few of them and they all look lovely. So I'm excited about that. I will tell you though that I am now on the verge of fitting in the older measurements of the big 4 plus sizes. So I'm getting close. All right, then I will also be making the Seamwork Almada robe. I made one of these back when I first started sewing in early 2020. Any of these things that I've made already, I'll probably be putting pictures up just so you can see. And if I've done a video, then I'll link the video down below. But the Almada robe was so much fun to make. I've made one for myself. I am gonna make this one. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it for myself because quite frankly, as much as I love the one I've already made, I don't ever wear it. But I do think this is such an interesting construction and it's such a gorgeous robe that I'm not big on making things for other people because I don't know who appreciates handcrafted gifts and who doesn't. And so I don't want to put all that effort into something and the person just be like, okay, thanks. It's like the same as getting a gift card or something. Some people love it and very much appreciate it. And if I know that about somebody, then I'm more than happy to make it. I don't make things without knowing that up front for other people though. But I do have somebody in mind that I think will very much love the robe and love the fact that it's handmade. So I am excited about that. I am making the Basharl, I don't know if I'm saying that right, the Basharl jacket from Style Arc. Excited about that one. That's just a good everyday kind of, I'm gonna make it kind of lightweight because I am in South Florida. I don't need anything too heavy. I'm gonna make it kind of lightweight and it'll just be a good like jacket to throw on because I do keep the air conditioning kind of cold in here to offset how freaking hot it is outside. So I do get kind of chilly sometimes. So that'll come in handy. I'm gonna skip this next one because I think I don't think we're 100% confirmed on that one. Shoot, hold one second. Okay, so here's another simplicity pattern. Look at me, I got a couple of big 4s in here. This is a simplicity, it's a Mimi G pattern, and it is the S9554. And it's just an oversized button-up shirt. And I will wear this with leggings. I will definitely make it at least this long. I'm contemplating whether or not I would make it as a dress. But I think a tunic length, I think that'll be good because that's really gonna fit with my lifestyle. I will make it this length, I will wear it with leggings, and I'm really excited about that one. I've got the perfect fabric for it, and I think it's gonna be fab. So that's the next one. Then I am going to be making a Raglan T-shirt. I have several different Raglan T-shirt patterns, but I absolutely know that I love the fit of the fin tee from Seamwork. And so I will be making that one. I'm not 100% certain on which fabrics I'm using for that yet though. Then my next pattern is the Seamwork Marlowe. Again, I've already made one of these. I did also make one of the fin tees before too, so I'll put that somewhere up here. But I love the Marlowe. I've made it once. The one that I made is really just too big for me. I just need to take in the sides. I wear it anyway though. I just wear it over like a tank top or something. But I love it. That style is my style. And I don't know if you've picked up that I like more simplified styles, so that the colors and the prints on the fabrics that I choose can take center stage. So love the Marlowe. Funny enough, like that has buttons up the front. I have discovered this year that I actually enjoy sewing buttonholes. Is that weird? It's weird. Anyway, all right, so the next thing that I'm gonna make is another Anderson knit dress. This is another Style Arc pattern. I made one last year. It got so worn and I will put a link to that video below, but I took each of the panels. So this pattern has style lines where like there's a seam coming down the front. So there's skinny side panels and then the center panel. And then there's pockets within those skinny, in between those skinny side panels and the center panel. And I took each piece, I bought some white cotton sweatshirt fleece material, and I dyed each panel or each piece of fabric in a different pattern. I used the same dye colors on every piece, but I did the folds differently, so I got different patterns on every piece. Well, every other piece. The coordinating pieces were the same pattern. So like the sleeves were the same, the skinny side panels were the same, but then it was were the same as each other. The sleeves were the same as each other. The skinny side panels were the same as each other. And then I did something different on the front, something different on the back. And then I had some white ribbing that I just dyed one of the predominant colors from within the tie-dye pattern. I wore that dress to death. I loved it. I still have it because I think I can fix it, but I knew from the get-go that the fabric was poor quality fabric. After the first or second wash, the fabric was already twisting, and it was cut, you know, I'm fairly certain I had it cut on the grain. I could just tell when I washed it before I even cut it that it was poor quality. But I loved that dress so much that I didn't care. So the seams where the pockets are kind of coming undone. So I just need to reserge those. I'm gonna wear that thing until it literally falls apart. But I'm excited to have another one because I live in that thing during the winter, even though I live down here, because again, I keep the air conditioning on. So I'm happy to have more than one. I'm happy to have more than two. So excited about that one. The next one I'm really excited about. I had not made this one before, and I hadn't even really heard of it until my collaborator suggested it, and I looked it up and I really love the style lines of it. This is the Steel Pinafore. I cannot remember who the designer is. I'll make sure that I put it at the bottom, but I'll have the line drawings up here. And I love the fact that there's these skinny panels on the side. So I'm definitely going to be doing some kind of color blocking or pattern mixing or something. And I'm excited about that one. The next one is, so I'll give you a little hint about this one. So this fabric here, remember I told you I've got this old shirt that I absolutely loved, but it just doesn't fit me. And this lilac lace is just too stunning to get donated. I've got to use it. So my one collaborator and I decided, she went through my sewing inspiration Pinterest board and saw that there was this textured sleeve blouse that I had been wanting to make. So she just suggested that we both make a textured sleeve blouse. We don't have the same pattern. They may not even be the same style. I don't know. But I loved that idea because I've always thought in my head that this would be either a yoke on a blouse or sleeves or something. So I'm going to use this. I don't know what in combination with yet. We'll see. And I'm going to make either the Norma blouse from, is that from Fiber Mood? I think so. Or the Paddington top. I made one of those back in January with a collaboration with Jen, and I loved the pattern, but I didn't love the way that that one came out, so I've been wanting to make another one. So I'm gonna make either one of those. I haven't nailed it down completely yet for my textured sleeve blouse. I'm not supposed to tell you what I'm mixing. Anyway, but I kind of had to. The next project is not a garment that I'm making, but me and this collaborator are both going to be ice dyeing some ready-made garments, and I'm not going to tell you what that is yet. Then this next pattern, my collaborator is using a Big 4 pattern, and I'm going to be using the Bestie Tee from, why can I never remember? Is that from Pattern Emporium? The Bestie Tee from Pattern Emporium, I think so. Anyway, my collaborator is using the Big 4 pattern. I didn't want to have to go and buy that, especially because I don't think it comes in my size. It's a pretty straightforward tee. It has a little bit of width at the bottom, and the Bestie Tee looked like a pretty spot on comparison. And there's just one, the pattern that my collaborator is using has a diagonal cut or seam down the front, So all I have to do is make that same cut in the Bestie Tee pattern and add seam allowance, and I've got the same t-shirt. So I'm gonna use the Bestie Tee for that. My next collaborator and I haven't nailed down our specific project. We've just kind of tossed around the idea of a layering piece for the fall. So and it's going to be in a woven. That one's not going to be in a knit. And then I have a bag that I'm going to be making. So it is a maker's choice. So that is a collaboration with 3 other people, and I think we're all going to be making something different. And I'm sure that you figured out. Like I said, I'm not sharing the fabrics, but this one's kind of easy to figure out because I only had one really like bag making fabric in my video last week, and it was my waxed canvas. And one of my brilliant friends here on YouTube in the comments suggested doing like steaming the fabric to get those creases out. Brilliant. So what I did, instead of, like, she had suggested taking my iron and putting one of those feet on it. I forget what it's called, like a steamer foot or something that protects the iron, and using a lot of steam to steam it out. But I didn't have one of those. So what I did instead was I took a hand towel, got it soaking wet, I wrung out the excess water, and I threw that in the dryer with my 2 pieces of waxed fabric. Voila! No more lines. And it's got that lived in, like the creases, like where it's white is coming from creases, and that's exactly what I was looking for. So I'm excited. Look, these 2 together are gonna make my bag. So I think that's everything that I have figured out right now. So I would love to know if you've made any of these patterns. What was your experience? Are you excited about any one of them in particular? I'd love to hear. And if you think you know who some of my collaborators are, I mean, I've told you who all my collaborators are, but if you think you know which collaborator goes with which project, then put it in the comments. Let's have a little bit of fun. So let's see. Jen's question of the week was, have you ever had any sewing classes or courses, or are you self-taught? I've mentioned before, I did like one of those like Q&A things last year. I learned how to sew when I was in college. I did not take home ec in high school. It wasn't a required course, and I had absolutely no interest. So in college, my first semester in college, I was an accounting major, and I thought I was going to die of boredom. So I switched after one semester to a business administration with a merchandising minor. That was my goal. And as I've mentioned before, my goal was to become a buyer for a department store. So with that major, or more so with the minor, with the merchandising focus, I was required to take a sewing class. And it's the first time I had ever sewn. I guess that's not true. I dabbled when I was a young child and I was staying at my grandmother's in the summer. I would take pieces of fabric and I would cut them and fashion them into like halter tops, and I made clothes for my dolls. This was all hand sewing though. I wasn't using a sewing machine. Then in college, I took that sewing class, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I took 18 hours every semester, and I worked 35 hours a week. My dad had moved to Michigan. My dad was very generous and he paid for my college. My mother lived in town. My mother and I didn't get along at the time, so I didn't want to live with her, but my dad was like, I'm paying for your college. Your mom lives right there. I'm not paying for you to live on your own. So I worked a full-time job while I went to school full-time, and I worked in a department store. And so I needed to dress professional, and I literally, like, I went to school from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., I got in the car, I drove to work and worked from 2:30 till 9, Monday through Friday. I think I had one day off a week or something, because I worked the weekends as well. But I loved that sewing class because I was making pencil skirts, I was making dresses. I made way more garments than I was required to make for that class because I just took to it and I loved it. And my boyfriend at the time ended up buying me a sewing machine for Christmas. And I used that thing for years until life got in the way, work got in the way. I just fell away from it for the 25 plus years until I came back to it in early 2020. So I did have a formal sewing course for a full college semester. And since then, I've taken a couple of courses. I took some courses at the Sewing Expo in March. And then, of course, I've learned a lot from YouTube. So that's my story. How did you learn how to sew? Let me know in the comments. All right, wherever you are, I hope the weather's amazing. I hope you're able to get some sewing in, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.